Some stories don't begin with a scream. They start with silence. With a name on a flyer. With a face you've never seen before. But suddenly can't forget. Lena Monroe. 19. Last seen at 10:18 p.m. They say she just vanished. But I've seen this before. And I know one thing. Silence always hides something. I didn't know her. But something about that image. The way she wasn't quite looking at the camera. It hit me. Harder than I expected. The report said she might have run away. Stress. Exams. Family tension. All the usual boxes. But I've seen this story before. Too many times. And I've learned something. When a girl disappears without a sound, it's rarely her idea. It always starts the same. A roommate who thought she was staying somewhere else. A mother who waited a little too long to call. And a university that stops printing flyers after week 2. But girls like Lena don't just vanish. She was predictable. Structured. Same seat at the campus cafe, every morning at 8:10. Black coffee. Extra shot. 2 sugars. Returned library books early. Always had a backup charger. Called her mom every Thursday at 9 p.m. Not the type to disappear. Not without a trace. And not without a reason. The police had a timeline. They always do. Lena leaves the library at 10:18 p.m. Backpack on. Hood up. Walks across the quad. Then, nothing. No dorm swipe. No phone activity. No confirmed sightings. Case open. No leads. But there was another camera. Different angle. Not public. Maintenance building, east side. It didn't catch Lena. It caught someone else. A man. Standing still. Not walking. Not talking. Just standing. Near the admin building. Watching. And when Lena passed, he turned his head. Just slightly. Just enough for me to notice. They said her phone was never recovered. That it went dark at 10:42 p.m. Maybe destroyed. Maybe powered off. Standard explanation. But 3 days later, someone called me. A janitor. Nervous voice. He'd found something in a drain behind the parking garage. Not the phone. Just the case. Black. Cracked. And inside the lining? A piece of notebook paper. Folded small. 5 handwritten words. I know you're watching. It was her handwriting. And suddenly, it all shifted. I couldn't let it go. That message. That strange figure in the video. The quiet way Lena vanished. I started digging. Same age group. Same type of campus. Same pattern. It led me to Haley James. She disappeared 1 year ago, same day, different state. Also after leaving the library. Also alone. Same ending, too. The footage cut out near the fountain. But Haley came back. 10 days later, she just returned. She dropped out. Deleted her accounts. Refused interviews. No one ever found out where she'd been. But I knew I needed to. It took me 2 days to track her down. New name. New town. Working at a used bookstore like she wanted to disappear on purpose. When I walked in, she looked straight at me. Not shocked. Not worried. Just tired. Can I help you? She asked. I'm looking into Lena Monroe, I said. She froze. Didn't speak for a second. Then whispered. She didn't listen, did she? I kept my voice steady. Listen to what? She finally looked at me. And for a second, I saw real fear. There's something on that campus, she said. Something that doesn't leave footprints. Then she walked out the back door. Just like that. Gone again. I went back to campus that night. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't ask for permission. At this point, I wasn't looking for files or footage. I wanted to feel the space. To walk where she walked. I retraced Lena's path. Library exit. East Quad. Past the fountain, where the cameras cut off. And then I kept going. The lights grew thinner. The air colder. Sidewalk cracks beneath my shoes. And finally. There it was. A narrow alley between two maintenance buildings. No lights. No cameras. No reason for any student to ever go there. And yet. It felt wrong. Not just quiet. Not just empty. Wrong. The kind of wrong your body notices. Before your mind can explain it. I stood there for a while. Still. Listening. Nothing moved. No footsteps. No wind. But there was this hum. Low. Deep. Like the world had turned down its own volume. I turned, slowly. No one behind me. No sound. Just the feeling that something had noticed me. And decided not to show itself. I got home just before 2 a.m. Didn't sleep. Didn't try. I made tea. Sat in the dark. Played that feeling over and over in my mind. The one from the alley. It wasn't fear. It was recognition. Like something had seen me. Like it remembered me. By morning, I convinced myself it was nothing. Just nerves. Imagination. Residual tension from Haley's warning. But then I checked my mailbox. There was one envelope. No return address. Just my name. Printed. Not handwritten. Inside. A photograph. Grainy. Black and white. Shot through glass. Me. Standing in the alley. From last night. Same jacket. Same posture. Same moment when I turned around. I never saw a camera. I was alone. Except, I wasn't. On the back of the photo. A line typed in clean serif font. Some things are better left unseen. That's when I knew. Someone had been waiting for me to come back. I don't usually call the families. Not until there's something real to say. Not until I have more than a gut feeling and a photograph from the dark. But something about the envelope. The way it was delivered. The way it was worded. It felt like a warning. Or a dare. So I called Diane Monroe. She answered on the second ring. Her voice was calm. Measured. Almost rehearsed. I told her who I was. That I was looking into Lena's case. She was polite. Said thank you. Said the police had done their best. Said she wasn't expecting miracles. But the way she said it. It felt like she'd said it too many times already. I asked her about Lena's routines. Her friends. Anyone she'd been close to. She listed a few names. A roommate. A classmate. A teaching assistant. All girls. When she finished, I asked. Was there anyone else? Maybe someone she didn't tell you about? There was a pause. Then she said. Well, there was a boy. But I never met him. I waited. She only mentioned him once. A friend from one of her psychology classes. She said he asked a lot of questions. I asked for a name. She didn't hesitate. Evan. Just that. No last name. No photo. No contact info. But the way she said it. Quick, like she'd been trying not to remember it. Like she didn't want to admit that she had. I wrote it down anyway. Evan. And for the first time in this case, I finally had a direction. It didn't take long to pull the records. One thing about universities: they archive everything. I found the psychology course Lena took last semester. Intro to Behavioral Neuroscience. Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. The class list had 27 names. Evan was number 23. No last name. Just Evan M. No student photo attached. No ID number. Just a placeholder. Weird. I flagged it. The university registrar didn't have much more. He was enrolled. Briefly. Registered on September 1st. Dropped on October 16th. Lena disappeared October 18th. No one had followed. I didn't sleep. Again. Instead, I charged a micro camera. The kind used for wildlife observation. Motion triggered. Infrared. No blinking lights. No sound. I've learned to trust my instincts. They've kept me alive before. Years ago, I escaped someone who didn't believe in witnesses. Someone who watched more than he acted. And when he finally moved, I almost wasn't fast enough. That kind of experience never leaves you. It sharpens you. Or it breaks you. At 3:17 a.m., I returned to the alley. Same silence. Same wrongness. I placed the camera just inside a broken vent panel. Angled it toward the far end. The spot where I'd turned around last time. Then I left. Didn't stay. Didn't look back. The camera was set to upload to a private cloud. I refreshed the feed every 20 minutes. Nothing. At 6:11 a.m., the feed went dark. At 8:02, I went back. The vent was open. The camera was gone. No scratch marks. No debris. No sign it had ever been there. Just gone. I checked the cloud. Only one clip had uploaded before the signal dropped. 38 seconds. Dark. Still. Nothing moved. Until second 34. When something passed in front of the lens. Not a person. Not a shadow. A flicker. Then, black. No error message. No interruption. Just a clean, deliberate absence. I stared at the screen for a long time. And that feeling I'd been trying to suppress, the one I remembered from years ago, finally settled into my spine. I wasn't alone in this anymore. I never had been. It happened in daylight. That was the part that unsettled me most. I came out of the grocery store around noon. Usual place. Usual routine. My car was parked 2 rows from the entrance. There was nothing unusual. Until I opened the driver's door. On the windshield. A single envelope, tucked under the wiper. I knew it was for me before I even touched it. Cream paper. No markings. But the weight of it felt intentional. Inside. A single sheet of thick cardstock. Typed. Centered. You're not the only one who watches. Evan. No return address. No fingerprints. No camera caught who left it. I checked. He wanted me to know he was close. Close enough to follow me. To know where I shop. What I drive. What time I usually leave. But it wasn't a threat. It was an introduction. He wanted me to stop searching. Or maybe he wanted me to dig deeper. Either way, I understood the message. He wasn't hiding anymore. And now that his name had a voice, it was only a matter of time before I heard it in person. I stopped looking for Evan as a student. He wasn't one. Not really. Instead, I started looking for the pattern. Psychology departments. Library surveillance. Small disappearances that never made it past local news. And there it was. A trail. Different names. Different campuses. Same face, slightly older in each ID. Blurry. Distant. Never confirmed. Evan Martin. E. Matthews. E. Maynard. Always E. In every case, the story was the same. A missing girl. A roommate who waited too long. Security footage that ended just before she passed the last light. And in 2 of them. 2 out of 6. They came back. Just like Haley. And just like her. They moved. Deleted everything. Never spoke publicly again. Except for one. A girl from Michigan. Case archived. Never reopened. But in her final police statement, there was a line that didn't fit. Handwritten. Added to the typed page. He said he finds the ones no one watches. That was it. That was his method. His belief. He didn't chase. He waited. And the moment no one was paying attention, he stepped in. I've never chased attention. That's not why I write. The stories I tell. They're meant to make noise in the right circles. The ones who listen quietly. The ones who hide in plain sight. I don't use real names. I change details. But the core stays true. Girls like Lena. Like Haley. Like I once was. People say I survived. But that's only part of the truth. I got out. And I put the man who hunted me behind bars. That chapter is closed. But I never stopped watching. Because I know what it feels like. To walk through the world. And sense someone watching you. Without proof. So this time, I stopped waiting. I published a new piece. Not in a book. Not under my name. Just a quiet post on an academic forum. For professionals. For readers. For people like him. I didn't accuse. I didn't threaten. I told the truth. About the ones who disappear without reason. About the eyes that follow when no one's looking. About the patterns that repeat over years, across borders. And I knew, if he was out there, he'd recognize himself. It didn't take long. The reply came 12 hours later. No name. No signature. Just a subject line. You still write beautifully. And one file. A screenshot. From a campus security feed. Timestamped. Dated 3 nights ago. It was me. Standing outside the alley. Looking over my shoulder. The same way I described it in the piece. Underneath the image, a single line. So do I. No threat. No anger. Just confirmation. He saw me. He read the story. And now, he's writing his own. I stared at the blank page for over an hour. Usually, by now, I'd have the outline. The arc. The last sentence already whispering itself into my mind. But tonight, there was nothing. Just the glow of the cursor. Blinking like it was waiting for me to make the next move. I've written dozens of endings. Victims finding closure. Killers caught. Truths uncovered, no matter how dark. But this time, I'm not ready to write the last chapter. Because the story isn't over. Not for Lena. Not for Haley. And not for the other girls I haven't found yet. He's still out there. Somewhere between the shadows and the spotlight. Watching. Waiting. But so am I. Only difference? I don't hide. I publish. I speak. I pay attention to the silence between sentences. And I know that eventually, he'll make a mistake. And when he does, I'll be there. Not as a victim. Not as a witness. But as the one who ends the story. The cursor still blinked. So I typed one line. Not for him. Not for them. For me. Some stories finish themselves. This one? I'm still writing.